All right, folks, I know I haven't put out a full video in a while, but today we're going to talk a little bit. We're going to talk about NILs, as you can see in the title, and we're going to talk about the national championship games. The men's just ended last night. Congratulations to Florida Gators on a 65-63 win over Houston, a fantastic game. And congratulations to University of Connecticut for a beatdown, second beatdown of South Carolina on Don Staley. It was 82-59. So we're going to tie all this in together when I talk about NILs because this season we had seven of the seven of the eight number one seeds make the Final Four, and only one team that wasn't a number one, that was UConn women, a number two seed, make the Final Four. And of course, they won the whole thing because they got red hot after that game where they lost to Tennessee. They were killing everyone ever since then. So the fact that you have seven of the eight number one seeds and one number two seeds, you had two 5 versus 12 upsets, and then you had no other seeds down there. I think it was one or two tens beat sevens, but I don't really count 10 and sevens as big upsets because they really aren't. But now 5 and 12, we usually always have two or more than two sometimes of those. So that's not really a shocker. But there was no 13s, there were no 14s, there were no 15s, and of course there were no 16s that won. And then even McNeese State, who got the big win, they bowed out relatively easy in the next round. So is NIL killing this Cinderella thing? Is NIL the new reason why we're going to start seeing ones and twos and see more chalk in the NCAA tournament? I think it is because these guys that are really good players that are going to these small universities, I mean, no matter what you pay them to go to southeastern Louisiana or, Walford or somewhere like that, no matter how much you pay them to go to these schools, a school can swoop in, a smaller school from a major conference can swoop in and say, hey, you know what, I'll pay you this. And they're going to go. I mean, LSU's been picking up some guys from some smaller schools in the transfer portal right now. So you cannot be a great program from a larger institution. You can still swoop up good players from the smaller institutions. So how are these smaller institutions going to be able to keep their guys or girls in other sports like women's basketball and the women's sports when they could just come in and say, we're going to just pay you more money to leave those guys and come here? You'll be on a higher profile. You'll play better competition. You'll be on TV more. You'll have better opportunities because then you won't have to be in a conference where if you don't win your conference tournament, nothing else matters. I mean, it's going to make it very hard for Cinderellas and small schools, NIL. But if you really think about this NIL system, the way this NIL system works is, name, image, likeness. I mean, the boosters and everything, they can basically pay you out of pocket, and also commercials. I mean, all these boosters, they all have companies and things like that. And we can just set it up. Hey, you know what? We'll bring this guy, this girl in, we'll get them set up on ads for our brand. We want to promote, we want to give them money this way. Now you can make money off of your jerseys. I mean, it's just so many ways, so many income streams now. You look at football and you got guys making millions of dollars. Matter of fact, next year, since we're talking about college basketball, the number one recruit next year is going to play basketball at BYU. He's a 1 year guy. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but the guy's getting over $8 million to come play one season at BYU. So I mean, it's crazy that BYU has $8 million to spend on him, but they are in the Big 12 now, so they are playing with the big boys. But if you have an opportunity to go to a small school, it could be your parents' school that they love. You've always dreamed of going to whatever the school is. Like, you can make more money elsewhere. Like, you're young, you're 18, you're 19, like 17. They're approaching these kids at 14 years old in middle school and in ninth grade now and asking them, hey, come on over here and play for us, and they're going to offer you the world. I mean, it's like guys like Steve McNair and Jerry Rice and Walter Payton and all these guys from years ago, you think back, that played at the smaller institutions, the HBCUs, the smaller, FCS schools, you know, even the smaller FBS schools for that matter too, because they can't afford to pay like that. So I mean, if you're going to a smaller school in football, so you're going to UL Monroe or something that's FBS. I mean, if LSU's going to swoop in, they're going to pay you 3 times the money, and you're going to get more exposure. Where are you going? You're going to leave. So I mean, the question is NIL good or bad? So I just ran over a lot of sort of cons. Let's talk about some of the pros. Let's talk about this NIL thing. So if you're someone who enjoys watching all of the blue bloods play and you like the big schools and you want to see the best teams and the best conferences have all the players and you want to see all the number ones and the best teams all year, and if you want to see that and you don't want to see Cinderella, it's a great thing for you. And a lot of people feel that way. Everybody doesn't want to see the Cinderellas. As a matter of fact, oftentimes we love to see the Cinderella pull off the upset, but then as they continue to play, the ratings go down sometime because you don't want to keep watching them, or you expect them to get blown out at some point because they get all up and all excited about this one win, and then the next week they don't show up. So a lot of times people want to see the very best. And I tell you, the women's Final Four was a little disappointing, obviously, because Juju got hurt. We all wanted to see Juju against Paige. That was the game we all wanted to see. When we saw UConn run them over without Juju, Paige Becker is phenomenal. Not just her, though. That girl, Sarah Strong, and then the other girl, Fudd. That team, I don't know how that team lost 3, 4 games, and I don't know how they lost to Tennessee because Tennessee wasn't even that great. But we've seen what that team can do, and like I said at the very beginning, congratulations to them. You got to look at Paige Becker having those 2 knee injuries and recovering from it. She absolutely deserved it. Florida Gators, man, what a great run. That Final Four on the men's side was just fantastic, though, as far as the games itself. I didn't have a horse in the race as far as those teams are concerned, but the Duke Houston game, the comeback, I had that penciled in. I didn't watch it at the end. Duke was up by 15 points in the second half. What a great comeback by Houston to win that game. I mean, it was an excellent Final Four as far as the games were concerned. But back to the NIL, which is what I was talking about. Well, the NIL is just, like I said, there's pros and cons. You're going to see better, closer action with the big schools and, good games this way, but it's sort of killing Cinderella. It really is killing Cinderella. So, I mean, I'm not going to say there's never going to be a lower seed team win again. You'll probably continue to see 12 versus 5 because it's just really, it's a good matchup. You think about the history of 12 versus 5, and you think about why 12 beats 5 often. When you really think about what the matchup generally happens with 12 versus 5, you have a team like a McNeese State, a team that plays in a small conference that a lot of people don't know about, but they had a really good season, a really good record, a team that's used to winning, a team that's usually got a few veteran guys or, a coach like a Will Wade, who's, by the way, going to NC State now, who used to be at LSU before he got fired for show calls and all of this. So you usually have that type of up-and-coming young team in that game as a 12 seed, and they're usually playing against a 5 seed that's been kind of like borderline top 25 team all year that's probably got like 10 losses, 9 losses. They got wins against really good teams in the poll. They probably also got a few bad losses they shouldn't. So it's the type of game where it's right for the pickings, where you can see a 12 beating a 5. It happens frequently for a reason, but I would like to be able to see again more occasional 4s and 13s and 3s and 4s, as long as it's not Kansas, because I am a Kansas fan, and we've suffered a few of those big upset losses. But yeah, you love to see it, but I think this NIL thing is going to make it hard to happen. So let me know down in the comments what you think about NIL. Do you think NIL is killing the Cinderellas of the NCAA men's and women's tournament? Do you think it's a great thing? I personally am for NIL as far as name, image, and likeness, as far as players being paid. I think you should be able to make money off of your likeness in terms of you should be able to do commercials. You should be able to sell your jersey with your name in it. I think it's getting out of control, though, with the transfer portal. And I think it's getting out of control with the amount of money some of these NILs. There should be a cap on it. That's just my opinion. I don't think you should have a quarterback coming out of high school making $12 million. I think that's insane. I don't think it's right that guys can come out of high school and get paid more money than a lot of professional athletes are getting paid. I'm for NIL. I think it should be that way, but I think it's out of control. And the transfer portal, I think, is so far out of control. They got to start limiting the transfer portal because I don't like seeing these players play with 5 institutions in 6 years, and these players just moving all over the place to play, and just, I mean, at the end of the day, you're a student athlete. So I mean, what are you really getting in class if you're transferring from school to school and just switching around like this? Are you even going to class? And the way these conferences are right now, you're traveling all around the country now in middle of the week in Olympic sports. So are they going to class, or do you just have someone out there that's just doing your homework that basically helps with the athletic program that does all your homework so we can make sure we keep you eligible? That's what I think. But yeah, there's pros and cons to it. But let me know in the comment section what you think about the NIL. I will get back to doing more of these videos, and I will get back to doing shorts, hopefully daily, so I can have something on this channel every day for you. I haven't been posting much, but I'm going to get back to it. I'm looking forward to doing some videos. Got some really good ideas coming up in the future for some videos. I'm going to talk about the NBA playoffs really soon because it's getting ready to tip off. There's only like 3-4 games left for everyone. Play-in tournaments coming in. Play-in tournament on the West End is very exciting. On the East, we know who the teams are. Got to figure out a little bit of the order there. So we'll talk about the NBA, and we'll talk about, moves that are going on in the NFL and the draft, and we'll talk about all that kind of stuff. So y'all keep your ears pinned and keep looking for content here. And as always, remember, peace and sports, and I'll see y'all later.